This is my first conversation for ReSounding Wholeness. And what I want to share is that I've felt moved in recent weeks to connect with people who are stepping into their wholeness, stepping into their higher purpose, and sharing who they are, their gifts. And I don't feel like there's enough sort of everyday people being honored and focused on in terms of stepping into the fullness of their path. And we're at a time on planet Earth where more and more of us are being awakened to step into our fullness, to step into our power, and bring forth gifts that maybe we have been hiding out of maybe concerned that people wouldn't understand our gifts, or that we were just afraid to be seen as different, as weird. Maybe when we were children, we had these gifts and our family members sort of told us to keep them on the down low, or thought that they weren't right. So now is the time on planet Earth where more and more people are awakening, and our souls are calling us to bring forth these gifts. And so I'm going to just read this statement that I wrote regarding these conversations, and then we will get started. In a world that idolizes celebrities, gurus, athletes, fashion, the latest trends, technology, media, and more, my goal is to highlight human beings who are sharing their unique, incredible soul's purpose and service in the world. While these people may not have the biggest following, they are making an incredible impact in the world that is so necessary at this time. I am truly excited to have and share these conversations to help inspire others to step into their unique soul's purpose and calling at this challenging time on the planet. Today, my first guest is A.L.Garris, Andrea, who's an angel among us. And we'll be spending about an hour together. I have questions prepared, but we're just going to let this conversation just take its course today. But before we do that, I want to take a moment to read from one of my favorite daily books that Melody Beatty wrote, Journey to the Heart, Daily Meditations on the Path to Freeing Your Soul. It's August 7th from the book, and it says, be all you can be. Step out into the cool night air and look at the stars. See how they shine. Know that it is okay for you to shine too. Who told you you had to hold back? Who told you your gifts, your talents, your beauty, your natural, beautiful, loving, delightful self was wrong? Who told you not to be all you could be? Maybe, as some suggest, we've gotten too comfortable focusing on our flaws, our errors, our dark side. Perhaps it's not our dark side we fear. Perhaps we're really afraid of our gifts, our brilliance, our light. Now is the time of light. It's time for us to shine. We've worked hard on ourselves, dealt with our issues, gone back to the past. We've learned our lessons well. The reasons to hold back and hide away are no longer there. Enjoy the fruits of your labors. Be all that you can be and enjoy being that. Don't hold back. Use your gifts with joy. Use your talents. Let your light shine for all the world to see. Finally, you are free to be all that you are and can be. I was just so amazed when I read that passage this morning. It was so perfect for our time together. So Andrea, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Andrea and I have been Facebook friends, I'm guessing for, not Facebook friends, Instagram. We connected with each other on Instagram maybe about 2 months ago. I had come across her Instagram feed and was just mesmerized by the videos that I was seeing her post. Really, really incredible, moving energy. And as I said to Andrea before we started, it was like just watching her in her room, her presence alone for me drew me in. And the beauty and the sacredness with which she shares, some of the things that she shares just made me feel calm and at peace, just being in her presence. So it was a joy when Spirit informed me, when I decided I was going to create these conversations, that I was clear that I needed to reach out to Andrea and ask her to be my first interview, first conversation. So here we are. And here, yes, you're welcome. So is there anything you want to share briefly before I start into the questions? Anything bubbling up in you?
Gratitude. Gratitude for you and for all you're doing, because your light is divine and beautiful, and it is making an impact in a very important way. This is definitely something that needs to come to the forefront, and thank you for doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. So the first thing I would love for you to do is describe, if you can, what you've been called to do. How do you describe this unique blend of work that you do?
I find myself in a space at this time, and I'm ever evolving and ever expanding. So what I am doing now may be different even tomorrow. But that being said, I find myself in a space where I am able to create sacred connection. So I facilitate a space of sacred holy light, and I open up a gateway that allows all of the beautiful light beings working with us to come through and connect with individuals who are intending to also seek out their own expansion and their connection to their light. So individuals that watch my videos will experience everything from peace, just general peace, stress relief, so forth, to some even experiencing having light activations where they are finding gifts within them coming to the surface. They're remembering who they are. They're connecting with their light teams, their angels, star families. So I am a connector. I am a facilitator of connection, and I also am a healer. I originally started my journey in Reiki about 13 years ago or so, and it just began morphing. I had a secular, regular job for many, many years, probably 17 to 20 years. And then over the last few years, everything started to change. And I was experiencing things in my healing work with my clients that was just, I knew beyond the traditional energy modalities that we understood. And I just continued to connect in and be open with my mind and loving heart, pure intent. And it just began to evolve from there. And last summer was a really huge shift for me. And I had another activation type experience with light language coming through. I had spoken it for years prior, and I had experienced speaking in tongues back in my early 20s. So I've always been on a very spiritually connected journey or space. And so then last summer when that happened, it was just like there was no turning back, and there was no even feeling as if it was a choice anymore. It was who I was. And so fall unfolded, and so did I. And then in January of 2020, I just knew with everything in me, I had to take it to the masses. and I had to trust spirit would show up and bring the masses. I had to do what I could do, and the rest would also unfold. And it was terrifying in many ways, because I knew who I was in my own being for so long, basically my whole life. But I knew others around me didn't necessarily know me as that being, right? I was doing it with clients one-on-one, but I wasn't saying, here, everybody, look at me, see me as I am in all, And so that was a huge, big step. And so when I found out that you had created this platform, I just felt so grateful and drawn to offering whatever I could, because that is the core of my work, basically, is the expansion of one's consciousness to remember who you are and embrace your authenticity. So for you to create a platform that actually allows me an outlet to speak this truth and offer it to all those who are open and ready to hear it. And everybody's in a different space, and that's okay. It's all based on the individual's consciousness, and there's no judgment. Someone who hears it today might be very receptive, and another person could hear it today and be like, she's crazy, and that's okay. Yeah. And that's what helps you be able to step out, is that non-attachment to having to have people say it's okay, but just to know it's okay yourself, and to just be you in your fullness, because you come with these extraordinarily unique gifts that are here to edify and uplift and encourage the whole. So maybe longer answer than you were looking for, but.
Beautiful. It was so perfect. But you said the word, I stepped away from the corporate realm 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago. And I was called up. I mean, it was very clear to me when I was called up that I needed to shift my life from making things for corporations to serving humanity through sound, right? And when I left, all of a sudden I picked up this drum, and I'm like, started like sounding and drumming in this drum. And my husband was very confused. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that shift when you finally brought it to your family or close relatives. For me, fortunately, while my husband was like, I don't know what's come over you, I don't know who you are, I don't know if I like who you are right now. My parents, they supported me. They got to experience what I do firsthand with some close friends. And so they understood at some level what I started doing. So talk to me about the response to your family and friends when you have started exposing yourself, your work.
Well, my immediate family, my husband and my 2 children, they've seen the process, right? And so when I originally just, 13, 14 years ago, connected with Reiki, energy healing in general, the fact we had an energy body, my husband was so good about it, in the sense that he said, I'm not into it, but if you're into it, that's okay. Just don't try to make me be into it. And I said, that's fine, And so I just continued we did life. And of course, everyone's expanding and growing in their own way. But I find that my husband and I have always been on a path that he's always encouraged me, and he's always offered me space to be me, right? Which is an incredible blessing. There's been a couple times I've said, like, I've had things at our home, where people will come and we'll do like huge energy sessions, group sessions. And he did a couple at the very, very beginning. I think it was because he wasn't sure what was going to happen. And so it's just kind of funny, because he's not really big on sitting still and being quiet. And so like after the first 2, he says, okay, I don't want to do it. But it's okay. See, that's the beauty of it. It's okay. And I'm just so grateful that he's just like, but you do it, you know? And then things evolve from there, you know, a little bit more. And now he's just like, he even will say to me, I do my work now, all my work is distance now, because of what was going on in the world anyways. It just opened the door for that. And I work with people from all over the world. And so I have sessions at night sometimes because they're in Australia or, you know, somewhere where I need to facilitate their time. So my husband will be home and I'll come out of the room and I've done my session, and he always says this now, how did it go? And he wants to know, and he's so curious and interested, because the uptick in the phenomenal is you just can't even ignore it anymore. You can't discount it. You can't put it to the side and say, yeah, well, maybe. It's just too huge. The stuff that's happening, the miracles, the healings, the shifts for people, and people on the other side of the planet sending in their notes as to what unfolds. And I'm sending mine, and they're crossing. We're not, you know, looking at each other's first. And they're exactly aligned. What we're seeing, what we're feeling, what we're experiencing. And this is consciousness to consciousness. There's no Zoom call. There's no phone line. This is two individuals going within and connecting via their inner knowing, their inner consciousness. So my husband knows this. So then when he hears the feedback, and he'll hear my clients on my messages when they're coming in and I'm taking notes and I'm checking in, and he'll be like, wow, you're really doing this, you know? And so that's helped a lot too. And he's always been very encouraging. I have family that isn't, and that's okay too, because I used to not be also. I used to look at it the same way that some of them look at it now. So I understand that side of it. And I just knew that this is what happened for me that made me make the decision. Friends, family, myself, my connection to spirit, to God, to source, right? Who am I living for? Who am I living for? Because when I die, do I want to think, or not really die, because we don't die, we just transition to another form, but our energy is eternal. But when I make my transition into another form, do I want to look back and say, I lived a great life for my friends. I'm sure they were all proud of me and really happy with my choices. Or do I want to say, I did me. I showed up and I brought me in and I let me out completely. And what is even me? And that's what happens when you step through, is all of a sudden you get to meet you, because all of your life you've been being the you that was kind of presented to you, right?
Right.
So that in itself is huge too. So as far as family and, you know, those closest to you and how they'll receive you, always come from love. Always remember to see their divinity, no matter where their divinity is, no matter how their consciousness is viewing you. Allow yourself to see it from your higher view, so you can come with compassion, understanding, and just being you from that space of love, right? Speaking your truth, but within love, and honoring yourself, respecting yourself, but coming from love. Never force or manipulation, like they should do what I do. Why? They're not you. They're their own individual experiencing consciousness in their own now, right? Yes. Let them do it their way. So that's my take on the family and friend side.
It's lovely that your husband has been supportive, even though he didn't always understand. And I've found in my work oftentimes with the drumming and reclaiming voice, that a lot of times the women are coming to me at a transition point in their lives, maybe work, maybe they're not happy in their marriages, maybe they're empty nesters, or they feel like they've lost themselves in somewhere along the way, and they end up actually doing dramatic things, like having divorces, leaving jobs, like it explodes. And so, and for whatever reason, it was necessary for them. Like they didn't get the response, the supportive response that you have received. And yes.
I would just say this.
Yes.
So that everybody understands I relate. There have been a lot of unsupportive moments via different places of relationships in my life.
Yes.
That I have had to navigate. Mm-hmm. Yes. And even with my husband, there were moments, and I love this teaching and understanding. So I just want to make sure we give it to everyone. As an individual, we go through all of the densities in our being. They come up in different ways so that we can transmute them, we can alchemize them, we can shift them to a higher version for ourselves. Yes, for the greater good, because everyone creates the whole. So that being said, not only do we do that, but our relationships do that. So every relationship we have, stuff surfaces. And in that space, we have the opportunity. It doesn't have to be that we see it as daunting or overwhelming. If we're able to come back into our wholeness when we're looking at it, we have an opportunity. It's offering the relationship the space to shift. Mm-hmm. And it's a two-way thing, because there's two individuals, there's two consciousnesses. But my husband and I had moments where he got scared. There was fear, right? Because he may be losing me. What if I like all my friends that like this more, and he's not as into it, but he loves me, but you know? So always remembering too, when you're confronting any situation in any relationship, as you're coming into your wholeness and being you, that if people don't take it the way you want them to or would like them to right away, they could be feeling fear. They could need your reassurance that you're not leaving them, or you're not loving something more than them, or you know what I mean? And that was really big for me to learn, that even relationships purge energy, alchemize energy, shift energy. And when they do that together, both individuals, then that relationship goes to a higher level. And it's really powerful understanding, because I never took it to that level of even relationships. So I just thought I would put that out there for anyone in a situation, because I have also met individuals who have been in that situation and they automatically knee-jerk react to, I'm going to leave. In some cases, you need to leave. That's fine. That's legit and valid. And no one can say that but you. You're the only one wearing the shoes. But take into consideration, it may be fear. Take in consideration, the greatest of these is love. And maybe there can be healing and alchemizing and shift. So that's just something to put out there.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love that. So what keeps you focused on sharing your gifts? I mean, you're saying that you're evolving all the time, but what is the thing that keeps you coming back and showing up?
I am so in love with light, with the light beings I work with. I have seen too much, witnessed too much, felt too much to not be in this space. I don't know. I mean, there are nights when I will be tired and it will be late and I will be going to bed and I will say, I want to go sit with them. And I'll go back into my sanctuary and I'll just sit. And I won't ask them to show up for healings for anyone. I won't, do any of my work. I'll just sit with them. And even the last time I did that, I posted recently on my page, I'm sitting on the couch over here, just thanking them and just being with them. And a feather legit falls in the middle of this room. And I didn't know it because it's, not in the third dimension that I'm seeing it, but the camera was picking it up, which is fascinating to me in itself. And I watched it back and I actually went, because I was like, oh my gosh. And they gave me a gift for just coming in and sitting with them. I mean, like, it's incredible. And then what keeps me coming back on top of that would be my clients, these individuals that are coming to me and saying, I'm liberating my life because of this work you're doing. Or a little boy had an eye issue and doctors came back and said that it was the first time out of 5 surgeries that they had a success after we did work together. And it's not me, I'm not God, I'm a facilitator, I'm a connective space. And this is sacred work, and this is our normal. This is our new normal, ushering in as our entire planet is shifting and our species, humanity, is shifting. And this is what many of us have looked for. Well, here it is. And so that is why I can't break away. And now this is my full-time thing. I don't do any other job besides this job. This is my full-time job. And I have never worked so many hours in a day or in my life. But the energy that surges up within me is from the source. It's from divine. So I sleep less, I eat less, but my body's functioning on a much different energy level now. So that is fascinating in itself too. But that's why I couldn't stop. I love the light too much. I love the light.
So, so there's a reality there's a certain level of reality that's going on in the planet. And this is not a question I wrote down, but it makes me say, like, we are experiencing this elevated state, this beautiful thing that's happening for people who are awake or awakened or in that process of ascension. And there's at the same time a very heavy density going on, at the same time. So how are you working through that? Like, do you always feel on and great because you're doing the work all the time, or are there moments where you feel the energy of the denser energies like sort of coming on you, or affecting you?
Right. And that's legit. I get this question from clients a lot as well. How can I stay in that space? I can speak from my own understanding. I believe all of last year, 2019, I went into a space of deep connection. It was more individual based. I wasn't putting a lot on social media yet or anything like that. It was a lot of deep, deep inner connection. I think it was the know thyself phase. Mm-hmm. And I was really connecting with the planet. I was really connecting with the energies on the planet, and even up into the stars. A lot happened that I think shifted my vibrational signature. Okay. And in November is when I started seeing the lights coming in. I mean, I was seeing them with like my actual eyes, not just the camera with the flash and all. I would be laying in bed and I'd open my eyes and there would be these white lights going through my room. And I had to kind of like, okay, I got to figure this out, wrap my head around it. Because at first it startled me, it scared me, it freaked me out a little bit because I had never been in that space. So anytime you're in a new space, it's the unknown. You have to navigate it. And so it was very fast though. Everything was very fast. Within 2 months, I basically understood what they were doing and who they were. And I was told actually through an automatic writing, they woke me up in the middle of the night and they were like, write. And I had never done that before. And I wrote, and then I was saying, oh, maybe, oh, they said, this is what it was. It was so funny. They told me what to write and I wrote it. And it's basically the first line is my favorite line. You are surrounded by holy light. Never forget that. You are surrounded by holy light. And so then I kept writing, and then they said, now lay down and we're going to work on you. And I was like, I was really tired. It was like very early in the morning, before dawn. And so I thought, am I just saying this because I want to go back to sleep? And my pen died. The ink ran out. And I couldn't write. I swirl it around, it won't write. I said, okay, well, I can't write anymore if I wanted to. So I'm going to lay down and let them work on me. So, and it was incredible, out of body, like all this really interesting stuff happened. But I got up and hours later, and I read the notes, and I picked up the pen and I went like this and it wrote fine. So that was incredible too. But the message was I was surrounded by holy light. Ever since I had that experience in, all last year and then going into fall, when I went into 2020, there was I was in a different space. I have people say to me, they see all the crystals I have in my room. They see the lights around me and they're like, how are you able to like hold your body up? How do you process that energy? But whatever the work they've done on me is what has allowed my physical body to house my energy body so that I can be the gateway and I can do this work. So that's what I think helps me also with the densities on the planet and the high energies coming in. I'm in a space where I know what my slice of it is. I know what my mission is. And my mission is to facilitate these connections so everybody can wake up and tune into their authenticity and their gifts. Activate, 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 activate. Come online. there are individuals here who are they're shining light on this density, right? In the fact that they're bringing it up to be seen, and they're doing the justice side of it all. There's a thing that everybody's here to do, and when everybody keys into theirs, then the whole thing is done. So I just tell myself, focus on what you know your thing is. You don't need to worry about blah, blah. And I've had people say to me, well, what are you going to do about this that's happening to the children, or this that's happening, you know? And I say, all I know is what my thing is. I know my gift, and that's what I'm focusing on. And I know that the light, the work that I do impacts the other, right? But I'm not, I do have awareness and discernment as to what I allow in also, because of what my work is and what I need to facilitate.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that. Very important. Finding our gifts, our unique gifts, because we are like the flower of life. To me, I look at the flower of life pattern, and that big circle is like the whole, and then each one of us are an integral part of that whole. Everyone having specific gifts now on the planet, activating them to bring us all to a higher state of being. And the more people can either work with people, or go within and reclaim their gifts and remember their gifts, the faster we're going to be able to transition this place into the heaven on earth that we all know is already here. We just have a hard time seeing it.
It's alignment. It's all alignment. So it's a matter, it's already fully in existence. Yes. We are not creating it as much as we are aligning, right? Yes. And so, yes. And that's the part of doing that work, inner work for the energy, so we can align. Yes.
So, and there's conversations out there in the ethers about the 3D world versus the 5D world versus and all of the different D worlds. And I want to talk about money, because, and we talked a little bit about this. I told you that we were going to talk about it. Is that how are you managing the financial aspect of your work? Like how did you decide what to charge, or how do you decide what to charge, and what kind of, there's the idea that we're supposed to be doing energy exchange, and what I need to make, bring to the awareness right now is, like, so often women in general downplay their money making, ability. I'm talking about the real physical. And so doing all of this spiritual-esque service work, we have to find a way to continue to pay the mortgage and do the 3D stuff. So how are you kind of working through that? How have you worked through that since you started doing this more full time?
And in the beginning, I did have those qualms with the money, because I also knew what I was doing was connecting people with God. And I was like, how can I charge people to connect them with God? That seems wrong. But then I realized that I have a life, and that it is still structured the way it is structured. And I need to be able to support my family, support my children. I need to be able to pay my mortgage and my car bill and my insurance and all these things that we have responsibilities for, and they're not going to barter my energy work for my car bill. They're just not going to. We're not in that place. So, and the work that we are doing as light workers, right, as these energy healers, this is higher dimensional work. This is higher dimensional modalities, and even the work that's being done is being amped and morphed, because everything is as we align higher. It affects everything, including your energy work. So you will find yourself doing Reiki, and you will feel as if it's shifting to a new level, and it is. So that being said, we are here for a purpose, to connect to the masses. Where are the masses? They're in 3D. Mm-hmm. What are the masses doing with their money? They're putting their money into corporations, then the corporations, for the most part, most of them are not thinking of the greater good of humanity in many ways. And so we're making the bank accounts fatter of the ones that are actually oppressing us. I know that might be negative sounding, but we need to speak the truth. So this is a good example. I have individuals who will reach out, and for the most part, I do not, this is not the norm, okay? I want to say that straight up. everybody, for the most part, that reaches out to me really respects what I do. And that's another thing that's happening when you allow a person to invest monetarily in what you have to offer. You're allowing their respect, and you're respecting yourself. What you do deserves that respect. Okay, like beyond even our understanding is a matter of what it really deserves. But now and then there will be someone who will reach out and they will want my energy session service, and I will give them the information, and they will tell me they don't have the money, or they will tell me that just for whatever reason they can't afford it or whatever. Now, I use discernment, and there are individuals that I have gifted stuff to because I discerned a connection energetically, and we've worked something out that was good for them and me. But for the most part, I can't do that all the time because I dedicate myself to this work full time. It means I don't have another set of income, coming in. This is it. So occasionally when it happens where they ask for that break, I'll go check out their page, to see, because usually we follow each other, and that's how I, make connections. And I'll see them on trips all over the world, or they've got a Louis Vuitton bag, or they drive a really nice car or whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're asking me, and I'm not trying to be mean, really, legitimately. I truly trying to come from a place of love here for the respect of light workers. The respect needs to be understood across the board. This work is not a game. This work will be one of the most profound, if not the most profound thing a human will ever experience in their human existence. And beyond that, it ripples out dimensionally. So even other versions of you and other nows are affected by what you do energetically in this space. So this work is beyond anything anybody could really pay. But we have to come up with something that allows respect, honor, and still the ability for people to afford it. So I gauge it kind of like with when people go and they ask for assistance with a psychiatrist or a psychologist or an attorney. I mean, actually, they ask for more money than I'm asking for. But I try to put it in a field that, is affordable, but at the same time, the person's making that dedicated decision by making that investment. That is a massive intention. Everything you do is based on intention, whether you're conscious of it or not. And if you decide to work with me and you say, I want to work with you, what does it cost? And I say, well, this service is $111. And you say, okay. And you, give that money to me in exchange for me giving you this connective session work. In that moment, you have set an intention. With that trust, with that decision that you made to give that money, you set an intention to receive that energy blessing, that energy shift, that energy alignment, whatever is going to happen for your greatest and highest good. That's big. And it's really interesting because I've done energy work for, like I said, over 13 years. But now what I'm noticing in 2020, when people make that move, I'll have people talk to me for some people weeks, and then they finally feel comfortable and they pick what they feel led to do, and they set up the appointment and they make the payment. The minute that's established and we've got that date and time, stuff starts happening. It's energy in motion. That is even like a science side of it coming in that's married to the spiritual side. You can't separate them. What you focus on expands, what you intend, you're birthing. So the minute the person makes that decision and respectfully through the investment, right? And I'm not saying energy for energy is not respectful. I'm just saying in the system we're in right now, in the setup we're in right now, I think we need that time for people to be able to have a space that says, do I want to give this much of my money for energy work? Because when we allow this space of time to exist, it is the transition that allows us to get to the space where maybe we don't do the money, but we don't jump from here to there, because then we don't learn the respect for the work. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It allows the person the time to connect in and gain respect for that work, because this is really the space of coming into knowing ourselves. When you know your energy, when you understand that you are light inside this shell, this suit, And when you do this work, that's what's happening. You're saying, I believe in that. You're saying, I connect to that, right? So I do it that way. And now, and let me just tell you right now, I've worked in, different fields all my life. I've always had a successful life, but I am more successful now financially than I have ever been in my entire life. And I have only been doing this on a global level since January. I put it out in 2020. And I said, I'm going to step fully in. I'm going to let God come through in whatever way that is for the greatest and highest good for the person that I'm with. And it has been phenomenal. So respect yourself and respect the energy workers out there. They're here to work with the masses, and the masses are about to come in masses. We are about to hit a space where there are going to be so many people saying, this is not what I thought it was. What's going on? This is a different world. And they're going to be realizing and opening their eyes to a lot. And that is why these light workers, we need to allow this whole army per se to be able to rise up and be ready and prepared to do their work. And remembering their wholeness. This all ties in. This is so timely that you started this platform, because this is how people will be drawn into their wholeness, because that's where their gifts lie. That's where the power is, right? And if you ever feel like you are not doing, if you're not joyful in the act of what you are doing in your light work, or you gotta do what you gotta do to be structured and get your work out and all that. But at the same time, always come back into that wholeness. Always come back into that wholeness. That's where your power lies. That's where your truth is. So money is a respect. Money is a respect. And where you're putting it shows where your respect lies.
Amen. In my humble opinion. Do I have 2 weeks of coffee from Starbucks, or do I have a session?
There you go.
Which will elevate me beyond the coffee.
And I want to say too, I've had clients that I have gifted, and they have donated to me $20, $22.22 or $14.44. I mean, these beautiful numbers come through, but I know for them that's like $100, right?
Yes.
And I thought, wow, how beautiful it is of that individual to take what they could, right, to say thank you. And then their lives are shifting, because it's all recognized. It's all aligning. You know what I mean? The flow. Yes.
Absolutely. Quickly want to just say, for me, I resisted teaching digitally, like doing online classes the whole 7, almost 8 years I've been doing Frame Drum Wisdom, because my whole platform is about connecting people to the power of live sound and vibration. So being in the room with people, drumming and sounding and all of that has been just like, that's the only way I'm going to do it. And then similar, in February, I made the decision to get Zoom, not knowing that by March, that's all I could do is teach virtually. And literally March, April, May, June, the best months of my whole career working with Frame Drum Wisdom, and learning how to facilitate. The beauty of it is that now people are having to do this in their home, which makes them have to ground this sound work in their home, which is what I've longed for. A lot of times if people would come to my physical classes, the only time they would actually do it is in my class, because they were afraid to do it at home, because they thought what their family might think or make too much noise or whatever. So there's it's just a lot of interesting dynamics, and the fact that I'm reaching a global audience, that I can touch people all over the world. And I feel like this time on the planet, where the COVID, all of those things that are happening are designed, however we want to say, whether it was man-made or nature, whatever, is that it's a time for us to realize we are all connected. We are all one family, and we have to come together and support and love and wholeness in order to change what's happening here. So it's an exciting time, challenging time, but yes, for me also, like, the most lucrative, because people are ready. People are needing these techniques. They're needing the light workers. They're needing the alternative, holistic ways of healing and finding their own healing potential. So Yes, money. We do need money right now. We're not out of the 3D, y'all. we haven't gotten there yet. I'm not even sure when that's going to shift. So just keep putting your money where your mouth is and where you want to grow.
Right?
Yes. So we're coming kind of close to, we have maybe about 10 more minutes, but I have a couple questions. One is, what do you hope to convey to the people who are listening today or will see this video in the future? If there's like, what's the most important thing that you really want people to understand right now, related to your work or related to their own lives and what's happening?
You are light. You are light, you are light, you are light. If you don't remember anything else I've said today, if you can write down those words and stick them on a Post-it and put them on your fridge or something, you are light. And in all moments and in all situations, every moment, you have a choice. We all do. No matter what it looks like or what it feels like, we are still light. And so in any moment, you can consciously choose to be aware, which allows you the space to observe and allows you the opportunity to respond consciously, which means you get to align your energy. You choose. You're always choosing, but sometimes we're unconsciously choosing because we're just robotically going through the motions we've done forever, a knee jerk. Well, they said this, so I'll say that. So if you can just remember you're light, and anything we focus on expands. So even just remembering that you are light expands that light. And that expands your connection to your wholeness. It expands your connection to your truth, your purpose, and it will emanate out into every part of your life. So you are light. Come from that space, allow that to expand, and know that you have the ability to consciously create and direct your life. That would be my biggest thing. And you have the right to do this. You are sovereign, no matter what anybody else has ever said to you or made you feel. This is your truth.
You have a special event happening tomorrow.
I do.
Do you want to share about that a little bit?
Okay, so yesterday, let's all make note of that. I got the understanding from my guides, my team of light that I work with, that I needed to put together something for 8/8 for tomorrow. And there are lots of different teachings and beliefs on 8/8. Some people say 8/8 Lionsgate, and there's an astrology side to it. And to be totally honest with you, my team of light was just saying, you need to utilize this space. I do believe it has connections to star families, star friends that are working with us. And even in the Bible, I believe they are seen, but we call them angels. And a lot of times angels can just be beings of light from other spaces. If you watch any of my videos, you will see these beings of light. And they come in all different sizes and shapes, and there will be flashes, there are iridescence. I have one where the feather falls. It says they gave me a gift on the title. There's like a 2-foot sphere of light on my lap if you still shot one of these parts. But anyways, they came to me yesterday and in telepathically communicating that I needed to set up something for tomorrow. And so I put it out on Instagram, and we have had a phenomenal response. I was making a joke kind of here, but it's been such a big response. I wasn't planning on that. I need to learn how to set everything up better, but this is a good learning experience. And I know it's all going to unfold beautifully. So what will happen is tomorrow on Zoom, I'm sending out a link. If you want to participate, we'll list information here on how to do so. But it's $18.18 through my PayPal, business PayPal. But what we're doing is I'm facilitating a 30-minute 8/8 Lionsgate transmission session. So the energy work that I do comes through my hands, through the space that I create, yes, the gateway that I open, I sign and do coding, and I also will do restructuring, restoration for the DNA. My hands, once I start, they want to do stuff, so I'm just going to let them go here, okay?
I love it. Yeah.
So tomorrow will be this 8/8 Lionsgate with the transmission, and it will be live on Zoom, 4 p.m. Eastern. But there will also be a recorded link. So anybody that can't participate live is more than welcome to, utilize the link. And these sessions are extremely layered energetically. So even watching it again, as you move forward, as you feel led to, it will meet you on a new space energetically, wherever you're at that time. So anybody who'd like to participate, I would love to connect with you. And I thank you for allowing me the space to also share that it will be available, because I really do feel the way the energy is coming in and all that's been going on with confirmations, signs, and wonders, that whatever's unfolding for tomorrow is a very large part of this shift for our planet and for humanity, and all of the light workers that are coming into their truth and remembering their wholeness. So I am excited to be a part of it.
I'm definitely going to be there, one of the people in the Zoom room with you. I'm looking forward to that. Also, how do people connect with you to schedule private sessions? And so where do they connect with you? Where are you most prevalent?
Most prevalent on Instagram at A.L.Garris. I do have a YouTube, A.L.Garris, and I'm working on a website. I know that seems to be like just what I say, but I promise I am. So many people ask about it. It's just, I've been super, I give myself to my clients first, and I need to dedicate some space to this building of the website and finishing it, but it's still in the process. So that will be available soon. But right now, your best bet is Instagram and direct messaging on Instagram. That's how I communicate with most of my clients. You can also reach me at onespiриthealer@gmail.com or Sacred Expansion. Actually, go with One Spirit Healer, because the other one's hooked to my website, and I won't. We're not going to count on when that one's ready. So onespirithealer@gmail.com if you want to email me. But yeah, I would love to connect with any of you. This is my mission and my purpose. So thank you for creating a platform where I'm able to share that.
You bet. Definitely connect with her if you're on Instagram at A.L.Garris. And you can see a lot of beautiful videos, see what drew me into the experience of her in the last few months. And I highly recommend that you try a private session with her and see where it takes you, where it leads you. I love watching the orbs moving around and floating, and it's just such a beautiful experience. Before we go, I'm looking over on my Facebook page. I haven't been following the comments, but thank you all for everyone who has been sharing information, or is there anyone who has a question for Andrea before we finish up? Anyone want to pose a question? And I'll give you just a moment if there is a question that you have. And if not, what we will do is I'll go back and look through all of the comments. I will put Andrea's connection information on the comment section, and also re-share the Instagram about her information for her event tomorrow, so that you guys can connect up. I'd love to see a lot of familiar faces in that Zoom room. If we get to see each other. I don't know how you're going to set it up
the way that you all want.
It's a big gallery where we all can see everyone going like, wow. Yes. Okay. There's Donna has a question about DNA healing. What is the question that you have, Donna? Can you be specific? Seeing if she's gonna. Donna, if you can ask the question, type the question, that would be great. If not, what you can, okay, I'm studying and using certain frequencies. Do you suggest a certain frequency in your work with the DNA healing? Or is it?
I don't know anything about certain frequencies for DNA healing. I just know my specific ability or gift with DNA healing is that it's in the work that I do, the energy that comes through affects the structure of the DNA that may have been mutated purposefully in the past in whatever way, genetic lines that is still processing through the humans. And I am one of many on the planet now that are here to facilitate energetic healing to the DNA. It's like a restructuring of the mutated spaces in the DNA. And there's also, my understanding, code in DNA that these codes are very important for the shift of humanity. And I am a code carrier, and I'm also a key holder, and it's about opening up the codes, unlocking the codes, and those are also found in DNA, to my understanding. So that's where the DNA comes in for me, as far as where I'm at right now from what I know. But I have heard of frequency healing. I actually had a meeting with an individual yesterday who does frequency healing work. And so, yes, that is even what Einstein spoke of, that the actual truth of medicine will be frequency based. So, because we are energy. So I think that's fascinating that the one question that you did pick was reference that. I just had that conversation yesterday. So
very good. Great. Donna says she'll be in touch. Just, yeah, that's a great idea. You could connect in with her. And have a session, see how it works, and then maybe it's passing you along to this other frequency healer person. I of course love the whole sound. I love working with people on sound, and I honestly, for me personally, I don't pay attention to what frequency comes out. I just let spirit move through me.
Yes, I do.
Whatever comes is what comes.
Right? Yeah, and I have a friend who's very in tune energetically, and she's done a lot of, I don't know the term for the work that she's done, but anyway, she can pick up and she'll say, oh, that's for your, I want to say Dantian. I don't know, they're different points in the body or something. Forgive me, that's not my specialty, but she'll hear my toning and she'll say, oh, that's for this point, that's for this point. And I find that fascinating that she's able to pick up on that, but that's her gift, so.
Right.
That's why we bring our gifts out.
That's why we need all the gifts, y'all. So if you haven't gotten anything today, it's bring on your gifts. It's time. No more hiding the gifts.
Right. Yes.
We need every single one of us to activate our gifts. And yes, go ahead.
And we're all surrounded by teams of light to back you up. So never think you're stepping out alone. I know it feels that way because you're looking at the third dimension that you're walking into, but the fact is, everybody that works with you, your team, and everyone has a team, they are all coming forward with you. So you're like, totally covered, and just always connecting to that intentionally and speak that over yourself and come from that space. So know that.
Awesome. It has been a sincere pleasure. Thank you so much for being with me today, and this whole group of people that are out there.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for joining us. And for everyone who sees this video afterwards, thank you. I hope you received an encouragement and inspiration. And reach out to Andrea. And come tomorrow and join us in a huge Lionsgate 8/8 extravaganza.
There you go.
Beam yourself up. It's time. Okay. Have a beautiful day. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay. Thank you so much for facilitating this space, and to all who participated. Blessings on everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.